Hi everybody, and you're very welcome to this lesson where we're going to be discussing the layout links of our application. So as you can see here, I have my Atom code editor open. Let me just shrink up here what I have open on the left hand side. So I have Atom open, my server's running. I also have my application open here. So we're going to take a look, as I just said, at the layout links of our application. And this means going back to the link placeholder that we added in previous lessons. So you might remember that we added link placeholders as hashes. And where do we find our layout links? Well, let's go there now. Go to App, Views, Layouts, and let's take a look in the header partial. So in the header partial we have a number of links, home, help and login, but they don't actually go anywhere at the moment. They're just stubbed out with hash symbols. And in a coming lesson we'll fill these in. But for this lesson, we need to discuss how we get there. We could jump straight in and do something like this. /HTML_pages /help. So we could just do something like that, and that would have it working in a few lessons time. But this would not be the Rails way. It would be better to simply use /help. So something like this. There we go. But Rails generally uses named routes, and that would mean our link would look something like this. So we have link_to help, then it would become the help_path. So a named route. This line of code is far more flexible because we can change the help_path and the URL will change everywhere this path is used. So we don't have to go from page to page changing the URL. As long as we're using help_path, URLs would automatically change. So how do we know what these paths are? Well, let's jump across here to a slide I have prepared. Here we go. So route and URL mappings. So you may be already familiar with these from previous lessons, but here's a list of our pages and pages that we are going to have eventually. So we have home, about, help, contact, sign up and login. And the URLs that they should go to. So /about, help, contact, sign up and login. And these are the route paths. So you can see here route, ROUTE, and then the actual route path, so the base path. So as I said, using these named routes gives us much more flexibility. Okay, let's go back to our code editor. Here we go. And I'm just going to undo what I've done because I don't want that just yet. That'll be for our next lesson. To give us a good handle and a better understanding of named routes, let's add in a new page. Let's add in a contact page. And we start by adding a test. So go to tests. So let me close up here on the left hand side. Go to test, controllers, and our HTML controller test. Here we go. So what have we got here already? Well, we have tests for home, help, and about. So let's add in a new one for a contact page. And that goes like this. Test, open double quotes, should get contact page. There we go. Do, hit enter. So what's it going to do? Well, very similar to the test just above it. Get HTML pages, but that's going to be contact URL. Next, we assert, and we're asserting the response, same as above, success. In the next line, we want to assert again, and we're asserting select. And what are we selecting? Well, the title. There we go. And what's that title going to be? Well, it's simply going to be as above, except with contact. So contact, pipe, orbit, feedback application. Let's save that. Now, if we run a Rails test, they should all be red. They should all fail. So let's do that now. So let me just kill my server. There we go. And let me say Rails test. Let's see what we get. There we go. We have an error. And where is that error? Well, as we think, let me just scroll up there a little bit. It's in the contact URL test. So you can see here it's red. So one error. And that's to do with the contact page. Why is that? Because we don't actually have the contact page. The first thing we need to do is go to our routes file and update it. So on the left hand side, go to config and routes. So as you can see here, we have no contact page, so let's add that in. Get HTML/contact. There we go, save that. The next thing we need to do is update our controller, or our HTML pages controller. And where do we find that? Left hand side, controllers, HTML pages controller. So we have the pages home, help, about. Now we just need contact. Without a capital C, autocomplete not doing me any favors there, end. There we go. And let me save this. So the next thing we want to do is actually create this page, because we don't have a page to respond to this controller action. And where do we put that? Over on the left hand side again, views. So we have HTML pages. Let's create a new file here. New file. Let's simply call it contact.html.orb. And here we are. Now we're going to keep the content for this simple. So we start by inserting the title. And that title is contact. Close out our code there. Perfect. Let me just double check something here. Let me go into about. Yep. See the about, the A is capitalized. Contact, I'll just capitalize the C. Next, let's stick in a H1. And that's going to say contact. Or contact us, whatever you prefer. Close our H1 tag. Next, paragraph. And what are we going to say here? Well, let's just simply say contact. Close a paragraph. There we go. Nice and simple. I'm not going to get into too much content on this one. I'll let you flesh that out for your own application purposes. Or maybe we might do it later on in the class. Save that. Perfect. Now, let's run our Rails test again and see what happens. Okay, so that's not the output I expected. Let me take a look. So let's start the debug. And how do I debug, and how should you do it, or what do I recommend? Well, I always retrace my steps and I go back to the start and I look at the file that I've edited, and then I work back from there, or work forward from there. So let's go to roots. And sure enough, it jumps out at me, HTML, it should be underscore pages. There we go. Oh, look at that. I've done it again. Typo, typo, typo. There we go. Save that. Let's run our Rails test again. Excellent. This time we did not get a big break error, nor did we get any failing test errors. We got success. 4 tests, 8 assertions, 0 failures, 0 errors, 0 skips. Perfect. That's it for this lesson, guys. In the next lesson, we'll look at our Rails routes and implementing our new routes paths. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next lesson.